Today, we're doing a full breakdown on this medical device business that generates over $5 million per month. Before I dive in, there is a publicly traded company called InMode that also sells medical tech devices. And they always publish their financials every single quarter, every single year. As you can see here, just in Q1 of 2025, they had a quarterly revenue of almost $80 million. Now, also, if you look at their overall yearly revenue, it typically ranges between $395 and $400 million per year. And so it is not uncommon to come across medical device businesses that are doing these kind of numbers. Now, this in particular business, they are not selling direct to consumer. They are focused on selling business to business. They are targeting med spas and aesthetic clinics and selling their devices to them. And they're doing it leveraging what we call a two-step funnel, where they basically run ads to generate leads. And then the goal is to get those leads to then book in a call with their sales team. Now, Artemis, from the research that I've done, is one of the fastest growing players in the aesthetics and body contouring space. They offer med spa owners high tech and high return devices like their T-Shape 2 device, which is basically this device here that you see. Now, what they have done is they've tapped into a booming category fueled by GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, which are transforming weight loss and with that, creating an urgent demand for skin tightening solutions. Artemis saw that shift early on and built their business around meeting that head on. Instead of selling devices the traditional way, they introduced financial partnership models, revenue backed guarantees, and powerful marketing support, making it easier than ever for med spas to launch, scale, and profit fast. Now, with a clear value proposition, localized ad funnels, and conversion optimized landing pages tailored to every single offer, Artemis is not just selling machines. They're helping aesthetic business owners tap into one of the biggest med spa opportunities of the decade. Now, with that overview, very quickly, this is their website here, as you can see. Now, what's interesting is that this business, they don't even get that much overall like web traffic, right? Like here you can see insights from SimilarWeb, and it's showing that they get basically like 22,000 visitors per month, and majority of their traffic comes from Facebook ads. Now, I actually have additional insights on Artemis, and I can kind of share like a little bit of the back end because I have actually some additional context, and so I know that for a fact they are actually doing pretty well. And it's always interesting to see that a business doesn't even need a high volume of like web visitors to actually be doing super super well. And so obviously they could be getting more visitors from this is only tracking like their main website. They could be getting more visitors on their individual landing pages. But again, this is a rough overview. Now, obviously, this is also a business that sells a high ticket device, right? So these devices, I'm pretty sure they're around like $60,000 if I'm not mistaken. And obviously, they don't need as many customers to generate like crazy numbers when it comes to revenue. Now, with that, let's dive into their product. So this is their main flagship product. It's a T-Shape 2. This is a product that they made. And so the T-Shape 2 is Artemis's flagship body and facial sculpting device, which is designed for med spas and aesthetic clinics. It combines four technologies: low-level laser, radio frequency, vacuum massage, and mesospheric activation. I probably fumbled that, but basically the overall intent and use of the device is to tighten skin, reduce cellulite, and to tone muscles without surgery or downtime. And with this, clinics typically see visible results in just 6 to 12 sessions, with clients reporting better skin tone, slimmer waistlines, and increased muscle definition. Now, with strong clinical backing, built-in marketing support, and flexible financing, including Artemis covering payments in year one, which is a crazy offer and a crazy thing that they do, the T-Shape 2 isn't just a device, it's a scalable revenue driver for aesthetic practices. Now that we kind of covered that, my overall takeaways after reviewing their product, because obviously the only way you can do these kind of numbers is by having a unique product that's come onto the marketplace. Obviously, if your product is no good, you're not going to be able to scale to these kind of numbers. So obviously, their product is a really good fit for the market they're going after. And so these are some of the main kind of key takeaways that I got from their product. Overall, they have niche B2B positioning. What I mean by that is that Artemis fills a gap in the beauty and wellness equipment space by offering a premium, non-invasive aesthetic device paired with turnkey business support, specifically targeting med spas and aesthetic entrepreneurs. They have a high ticket, high LTV model. So rather than one-off sales, Artemis builds long-term value through leasing options, training, and ongoing marketing partnerships, turning device adoption into an ongoing business relationship. They have a results driven product design. So devices like the T Shape 2 combine multiple technologies to deliver visible, clinically backed outcomes, positioning the product as a revenue generating asset for practices, not just tools. Usually in the medical device space, there are different devices that are individually sold. Like, for example, there's a cold laser device or there is a cool sculpting device. The reason that their device stands out is because it's combining multiple devices into one, which obviously is a pretty good value add. Next is education and business enablement. So Artemis goes beyond product delivery by offering training, promotional support, and profitability coaching, giving clients the knowledge and confidence to scale. So, a huge value add in these categories is obviously offering additional support after somebody purchases the product. Usually, again, we have actually a client that we work with that's also in the medical device space. And basically, what they do is they focus on selling the device to their customers, but also supporting them on actually training them on how to best use the device and how to also get leads and customers to come in for the service with the device. And so they include that all in one, which makes it obviously a value add, because if you just sold the device itself and didn't offer any additional support, customers may struggle. But they're basically making it so that when the customer buys a device, it's very unlikely that they're going to struggle or not be able to get any results, because they're basically walking them through the entire process. Now, last but not least, trust and professional presentation. So their brand is built on credibility, science, and aesthetics, with elevated branding, clinical proof, and clear ROI messaging that really appeals to professional buyers. And so overall, those are some of the main kind of key takeaways that I got after reviewing some of the key insights and exploring the market and comparing it to how Artemis's T-shaped product stands out. Now, moving on, let's dive into their marketing, right? Because really, to be a new player in the space and be able to quickly grow like this is obviously, really interesting to see. And there's not many businesses that are doing it. And so obviously there's a lot that we can learn after reviewing Artemis's marketing. Now, first thing is first, let's break down their organic marketing. So when it comes to their organic marketing, as you can see, they're actively posting across all social media channels. You can see that right here on their Instagram page. This is like one of their bigger channels. They have 15,000 followers and they're constantly posting content every single day. Moving on to their Facebook page, they are actively posting here as well. They have 5.4 thousand followers. And they also have a Facebook group for people that are already existing customers, but also that want to be customers, that want to just learn more about the product, how it's going for other people, et cetera. And so this is a great way to nurture new like potential leads, to convert them into paying customers, but also to convert their existing customers and support them even further. And then last but not least, they have their YouTube. Their YouTube channel currently has 4,000 subscribers. They're posting long form content on there, short form content on there. But overall, like, they are very much active on their YouTube channel. They've posted over 372 videos. And so all in all, really good to see that they have organic efforts. Obviously, in our day and age, if you're not posting organic content, you're going to be missing out, because it's a great way to add an additional touch point to your potential customers for them to get to know more about the business and get to know more about what you guys do, the behind the scenes, and just again, further interact with them at a whole nother level. So overall, some of the main key takeaways from their organic marketing was that they have empowerment centric messaging, which again, what they do is that they position themselves as a partner in success for beauty professionals, emphasizing on empowerment and support. And so their content often highlights how their devices and services enable entrepreneurs to achieve their goals. Next is they focus a lot on educational content. They cover on blogs, ebooks, and webinars, all kinds of different topics like marketing strategies for aesthetic clinics and med spa email marketing and more. They focus on community building, which basically fosters a sense of community among beauty professionals by sharing success stories, client testimonials, and collaborative content, which overall, this approach builds trust and encourages engagement. And then they also have consistent branding across platforms. If you look at almost all their social media channels, you'll notice that, again, their branding is consistent, their content and language is consistent. And so obviously they're just keeping that consistency across the board. And so overall, those are all the main kind of key takeaways that I got from reviewing Artemis's organic content. Now, moving on to Artemis's paid social ads. So for context, majority of Artemis's business comes from paid social ads. I actually know this confirmed. And really, if you go to their meta ads library, you can see that they're currently running over 500 different ads right now. Obviously, to run 500 different ads and to be generating $5 million per month, you have to know what you're doing, especially when it comes to B2B marketing, where it's not as simple as just getting an instant response and seeing if somebody's going to purchase or not. Again, their funnel is they have these individual ads that they're running to an individual landing page to then hopefully get a lead to opt in. And then after that lead comes in, they have a whole sales process where they go through and then hopefully they get to close them. Now, really, I picked up a lot of different insights after reviewing Artemis. If you go through, one of the things that firstly stands out when reviewing Artemis's ads is the fact that they have a wide creative diversity. They're trying things like static image ads. They're trying things like video ads, as you can see here. They are trying carousel ads. So when it comes to different formats, they have that all covered, right? As you can see, they have a wide variety of different types of ads that they're running to make sure they're appealing to everybody. I'll quickly switch back here. So again, really video creatives and static image creatives, these are really like some of the main two that they focus the most on. They are running like a couple carousel ads, but not that many. Really, the videos and the static images are their bread and butter. And these are some of the main kind of key takeaways that I got after reviewing Artemis's ads. So their target audience is aesthetic business owners and med spa professionals. And so Artemis is not marketing to consumers. Every paid social ad is engineered for business to business lead generation, speaking directly to practice owners, using their language and addressing their financial motivations. The reason I wanted to kind of clarify on this is because, again, we have another client that we work with in this same space, not going after med spas. They go after working with things like chiropractors and physical therapy owners and other medical clinic owners. And one of the things that they basically have to focus on a lot is making sure that their ads speak directly to who they want to reach, right? Which is, again, medical business owners. So you'll notice that, for example, in a lot of the ads that Artemis runs, they have things like medical business owners as like the main call out on their ad. And the reason why they do this is because this is very important when it comes to targeting exactly who you want to target in your ideal client persona, right? Otherwise, you'll struggle with bringing in patient leads, which is not really who you want to target. And so this is a very big deal that basically needs to be done almost always across the board. And you'll always see that they're always having these kind of call outs across their static image ads and their video ads. Like if you notice, if you go to their copy, their ads start off like this one here with, hey, med spa owners, right? Like it obviously is calling out who they're talking to. So that's something that's very important. If you're running a lead generation business and you're running paid social ads, you need to make sure that you have these kind of call outs on your ads to make sure that you're only attracting ideally who you want to target. Now, the next thing I want to cover is what really stands out to me is how they're running creative testing at scale. They currently have over 500 plus active creatives. And so with that, this shows that Artemis runs a high velocity testing engine across all funnel stages. So, for us, typically, working with any business that we work with, we have a process that we kind of use it like this, where, basically outlines what we need to do before we even start running ads. But let's just say where Artemis is currently at right now is you can see that they basically have an ads optimization flywheel that looks like this, where they have a tight process to run tests, look at what's working, cut what's not working, scale what's working, take that data and create new tests, right? Leveraging all the insights that they're gathering from doing this. Otherwise, there's no other way you could profitably run this many ads and constantly be getting results. And so now what also stands out about Artemis and how they go about their advertising is that they understand that there are different people that are in different stages of the funnel. So for example, they have ads for people that are more top of funnel, which their ads are more focused around talking about trends, right? Things like GLP-1 skin laxicity, which these are people that, again, they know about GLP-1, but they're higher up in the funnel. Then they also target things like M-Sculpt versus T-Shape 2, which grabs attention. And so this is what they're doing with these ads is there's a common device that's known for other medical spas and other healthcare professionals, which is this M-Sculpt device. It's a device that's very commonly used. And so what they're doing is they're literally tackling it head on, like, hey, this is our product versus what's already on the market. And this is why ours is better, which obviously does a really good job at just overall getting attention. Then when it comes to middle of funnel, you'll notice that they have creatives that have like things like product demonstrations before and after of like what happens after a patient actually goes through treatment. And they also focus on including stacks of all the benefits to build interest right around their product. And then for bottom of funnel, you'll notice that a lot of their ads will have clear calls to actions like things like schedule a demo or join the webinar, which are ready for people that are already have already either engaged with the business, have already visited the website or the landing page, right? And it's focused on getting them to take the next step. And so overall, they do a really good job at having individual ad creatives that cover every single step of the funnel, which is very, very necessary. And really, this ensures coverage across all awareness levels and allows rapid iteration on messaging, right? Now, moving on, really, they have a big focus on performance driven messaging. Their top performing creatives anchor every claim in tangible outcomes. So they have financial return on investment claims, things like earn $30,000 in your first week, right? Or add $60,000 a month in revenue, or $1,400 a month covered. Their overall like benefit to the consumer of the product is the fact that if they add this device to their practice or their clinic, they're going to be able to basically do more treatments at a faster time, and so they can net generate more revenue overall for the business. So of course, this is what they're going to focus on highlighting. But they don't only highlight this. They also cover things like clinical results. So 23% muscle to fat improvement, or visible changes in a few sessions, right? Because these are also things that these ideal customers want to know. Like, does it actually work? Can I get my clients good results? Like, and they're covering all these things. They also have competitive positioning. So they're, again, pointing out products that are already in the market, things like better than Cool Sculpting, right? Cool Sculpting is known in their space. There's a device that basically is very well known in the category. And what they're doing is tackling that head on, saying, hey, our device is better than Cool Sculpting. The next one says what Emsculpt wishes it could be, right? So this is a very aggressive approach, but when you have a good product, you can make the big claims like this, right? And so that's what they're doing, is they're really focusing on tackling other existing competitors in the market. And they're doing this because they know that their ideal customers probably have a Cool Sculpting device or an Emsculpt device, or have probably seen these competitors in the market before. So it's relevant for them to kind of cover what's the difference between the two. And then also, each ad ties back to real value, making it an irresistible for the return on investment to be there for focused buyers, right? They're really having a strategic approach around their ads, making sure that they're highlighting the fact that, buying this device does lead to actual like better performance within the business and overall efficiency. Now, moving on, you'll notice that, they're running a combination of both statics and videos. Now, when it comes to their static ads follow a repeatable, high converting formula. So you notice that all of their ads always have headlines, which calls out either med spa or practice owners directly. Again, I have a couple here kind of pulled up. You can kind of see here, they're calling out medical business owners, right? Medical business owners. And if you scroll through, you'll see that they have, different ads, but they're always doing these call outs, right? Almost all the time. The future of a med spa revenue isn't temporary, right? Med spa data. You can see it's very clear about who they're talking to consistently across the board, right? Those are a few of the call outs also. Again, you notice that when it comes to their static images, they have a wide variety of different ad creatives that they're testing, right? You can tell that they're cutting edge when it comes to ad creatives, because you can see here, they're even testing AI ad creatives, right? And they have this running for quite some time. And so, it just kind of gives you context on to like who's actually, what's being done behind the scenes and like how up to date they are with their current like paid social ads and their marketing. Moving on though, all of their ads have really clean visuals. So they either have device in use photos or clear benefit icons. They always show proof, right? Quantified results, things like, this client made 51K in a week, or this client got 23% improvement, which again focuses on leading and providing credibility to anybody that's reading that ad. And then last but not least, they always have clear calls to actions with things like simple and direct call outs with things like try to T-shape 2 or start earning big, right? And so by keeping creatives clean, consistent, and results driven, Artemis makes it easy to test and scale fast. And so last but not least, here they have, what I noticed after reviewing all their ads is that they have strategic trend alignment. They smartly leverage trending topics like the rise of GLP-1 weight loss drugs, Ozempic. So obviously this has been a category that has just exploded over the last couple of years. And so they're just literally leveraging their ads on the back of that, right? They know that a lot of people know about GLP-1 and all of the different effects of like weight loss, how it works, but it also leads to like things like skin laxicity, which is like where their device kind of comes in. And so what they do this to then position their technology as the go-to solution for post weight loss skin laxicity, which this gives the campaign urgency and cultural relevance, right? Because they're tying it to something that's current and only growing day by day. Like you're only hearing about like, the increase in the overall conversation around GLP-1s and weight loss and all this. And so all in all, some of the main key takeaway that I got from reviewing Artemis's ads is that they're not just promoting devices, they're pitching a high revenue business opportunity. Their paid social strategy is a masterclass in B2B lead generation. Their ads are timely, financial, compelling, and right. Every creative element, their messaging, their visuals, their calls to action is aligned to attract high intent leads to drive action and actually get results. Now, those are the key takeaways that I got from reviewing Artemis's paid social ads. Now, moving on to Artemis's paid search ads. So, usually from my experience, both paid social ads and paid search ads works really well when it comes to lead generation. Now, very quickly, this is an ad that I came across from quickly looking up Artemis T-Shape 2 on Google. As you can see, of course, they're running Google search ads. You want to make sure that you're trying out Google search ads because, you know, most of the time people will see an ad, let's say on paid social, or they'll see your ad anywhere. And some people will click on the ad and they'll go ahead and go through your landing page and they'll opt in, right? But other people will look at your ad, go to your landing page, and they'll want to get more information. And the next place that they come to get more information is Google. Or if somebody's already searching for a new device to increase their clinic revenue, they're going to be searching for that on Google, right? They're not going to be going on social media looking for a new device to increase their clinic's revenue. And so, obviously, having ads on Google works pretty well because of the level of awareness of someone that's already actively searching for either your product, a competitor product, or just overall ways to increase, in this case, to increase their business revenue or performance. And so, this is an ad that I came across from Artemis. Basically, it says, hey, the headlines are T-Shape 2 machine, and then the description starts by covering start offering the T-Shape 2 device in your med spa. If you make nothing, you pay nothing, which is a crazy claim, but that's what they do. The T-Shape 2 device builds muscle tone, tightens skin, and reduces cellulite with 4 advanced technologies. You get lifetime support. This is for business owners only. Boost your revenue, build your customer base, and then that's basically the full ad right there. Now, some of the key insights that I took away from looking at their paid search ads is the fact that they have clarity on their headlines. They always make it very clear, on their headlines on whether it's a specific call out or whether it's, including a headline of the name of their device. They also have strong value propositions in the descriptions, right? You notice that they open up with, again, start offering the T-Shape 2 device in your med spa. If you make nothing, you pay nothing. Like that's a pretty engaging ad description that you can have when it comes to Google, because again, that's a big claim and a good offer. This immediately communicates a risk-free offer, which again is a powerful differentiator in the high-ticket business-to-business space. Almost no other business is doing anything like this in their category. And so, all in all, this checks out the boxes for both high intent and lead gen language. Like again, when you want to focus on lead gen, your messaging needs to be on point and needs to call out exactly who you're looking to talk to, because otherwise you will have issues of attracting unqualified leads, right? But when you have this kind of direct messaging, I have seen that this works extremely well, right? Especially for, the different clients that we work with when we're focusing on paid search ads. Like this is something that we always do. We always have call outs. We always have strong value propositions all the time because this is what really works. And so all in all, the key takeaways from Artemis's paid search ads is that they're well structured and conversion optimized, and it targets high intent queries with things like clear headlines and risk-free value propositions. And so all in all, when it comes to lead generation with paid social ads, half of the equation is what's actually happening on the platform. So like what you're doing on Meta, right? How you're going about your creative testing, your messaging, what's on the creative, and more. On Google, it's all about your ad copy, right? When it comes to Google, paid search ads basically is the main focus that you want to basically like have majority of your budget going towards, because really with Google for lead generation, search is like where the bread and butter is. And so 50% of the equation is what's happening on platform, but the other 50% is what's happening outside of the platform. So from my experience, again, because we actively work with another client in the space, and we also work with lead gen clients as well, you basically need to have additional tracking in place. So for example, with one of the clients that we work with, we have a tracking sheet that looks like this, where every single lead that comes in, let's say from Google in this instance, they come in and we can see that first thing is first, they came from paid search, right? The next thing that we can see is that I'll quickly put this down. The next thing you can see is that they came in from this specific campaign, but even more importantly, that they came in from this individual keyword, right? And this is very important because when it comes to optimizing your ads, whether it's again on Google or on Meta, you need to know exactly where a lead came in from so that you can then identify, okay, was this lead qualified or were they not? Okay, then on a longer term time horizon, on a 7-day window, 14-day, 30-day, where are we getting the most qualified leads and how can we double down our budget there? And then where are we getting the unqualified leads? How can we stop what's happening there? How can we cut the budget, stop those ads, or improve those ads or those campaigns to get better performance? Without having this kind of clarity and tracking in place, it is very difficult to get results with your paid ads from my experience. Like you need to have additional tracking where you can identify, okay, where exactly are the qualified and unqualified leads coming from? Additionally, for this in particular business that we work with, we also have this tracking sheet where we actually track our true performance because inside of Meta or inside of Google, they don't know what a qualified lead is or what's the actual cost per qualified lead. So what we do is we have an additional tracking sheet that we use where we track the overall spend per campaign here, how many leads we got, the cost per lead, not just the overall cost per lead, like blended, like what's our true cost per qualified lead, right? Because this is very important to look at. For this business, they also focus on, having like booked calls. So they also want to track how many bookings they got. And then what's their cost per qualified booked call, right? Because again, Meta and Google, if you're tracking your booked calls, they don't know who's qualified and who's not. So you need to have an additional way to track this so you can actually see like what's your true cost, right? Otherwise, you're just kind of like, flying blind, to be honest. And so from my experience, again, the other 50% of the equation to get really good results when it comes to paid ads is having this kind of tracking in place. And I know for a fact that Artemis is currently doing this, right? This is how they're able to, again, run these kind of ads and how they can generate $5 million per month. So I wanted to share those insights because for any of you guys that are out there that are looking to improve your performance when it comes to paid ads, you want to, of course, look at what's happening on the front end, on the actual ads themselves, like what they're doing, but you also want to make sure that you have a strong backend infrastructure in place. Now, moving on to Artemis's offer. Obviously, for every single business, having a strong offer is very important. And if you go on their landing page, you'll notice that they have a breakdown here at the very bottom of how their offer works. You can see here that, again, their offer starts off with, we are seeking a partner in every single city for whom we will cover $1,400 monthly in exchange for working with us on some projects and sending you other potential clients for up to 5 hours per month for the first year. Next is partners will receive comprehensive training at no additional cost, including our on-site launch program called Elevate Day. And then last but not least, in the second year, our payback guarantee will pay up to $1,500 per month if your earnings fall short, keeping your investment risk-free and your business thriving. Like this is completely taken the market by storm because no other medical device that's out there for like medical spas is doing anything like this, right? And this is a crazy offer. Like you have to have a good product in order to not have this backfire on you. And so obviously, their offer is very strong. And this is why like they're obviously able to kind of pull in and get the kind of reach and visibility that they're getting because, they have a pretty attractive offer. They're literally making it risk-free for anybody to try out the device, right? And so, all in all, those are some of the main kind of key takeaways that I got after reviewing their offer, right? It's very well put together. It's results driven. They are obviously making it like basically risk-free. And so, really, it's a win-win offer, right? They minimize all the risk, they maximize the return on investment, and makes it easy for med spas to scale with zero upfront costs. So you can't really beat that, right? Now, those are the main takeaways that I had from reviewing their offer. One of the first things that really stood out to me is the fact that Artemis, they have a website, but they mainly focus on sending people from their ads to these individual landing pages around these individual marketing angles. What I mean by that is that, for example, if you go down here, you'll notice that they have different ads that are talking about the whole GLP-1 epidemic and the skin laxity opportunity, right? So if you go back to their ads library, this is an example of one of their ads where they're talking about this, right? And then you'll notice that if you go and you click on see summary details and you click on learn more, this ad then takes you to a landing page that looks like this, where they're talking about skin laxity epidemic and is your med spa ready, right? And they kind of go into more specifics. And you can see that, again, they kind of cover, social proof, the device, all that good stuff. But really, what's interesting is that they focus on having a unique marketing angle. So they have, again, the ads that talk about the GLP-1 opportunity. And then they also have the landing page that also talks about, GLP-1 and the skin laxity epidemic. And so obviously you can see that they're taking a strategic approach and they have individual landing pages for each of the marketing angles that they're tackling on Meta. This is very important because when it comes to paid social ads, you need to find unique ways to be able to capture people's attention, right? So for example, that's one of their marketing angles. Another one of their marketing angles we have here is the fact that they're tackling the T-Shape 2, which is their device, versus the M-Sculpt device, right? So they're basically comparing one device versus another, and they're breaking down all the key differences between the two, right? The next marketing angle that they have is the whole $50 million European skin tightening fund landing page, which is like how competitors are securing their share of $50 million in financing. It's this whole angle around like this fund and how Europe's best kept secret, which is this device, is like the next big opportunity, right? So they have all these individual marketing angles, and they have this other one here, which is just like, hey, what if you could get the best-selling device from Italy and only pay for it once you make money? This is kind of tying into like their payback guarantee that they have in place. And so you'll notice that again, they have individual ad creatives that are tackling individual marketing angles, and then those videos are leading people to very specific landing pages, right? Everything is cohesively working together. And this is what it takes to get these kind of results, right? They're not making $5 million per month on accident. They're strategically doing everything across the board. And so if you wanted to get ideas across other landing pages, you could easily find them if you go to, again, to the ads library, or if you look up some of their Google ads. But, really some of the key takeaways that I had after reviewing other landing pages, I have down here, which is, again, I already kind of covered the fact that they have funnel specific ads. The next main takeaway that I got from them is the fact that they layer in multiple different trust components. So for example, they don't rely on just one single proof point. They stack testimonials, data, earnings proof, FDA cleared authority, and more to really drive the point home around building trust around their product. They focused on offer framing. So the value isn't just a machine, it's the income potential, the marketing support you get, the financing help, and the exclusivity around having this device, right? They have this whole offer framed around this. They have consistency across ads and their landing pages. You'll notice that the language, the design, and the benefits across the board are very congruent. Each ad previously already tells a user what they'll see on the landing page. And so everything, again, is cohesively put together. And then last but not least, one of the things that I really like is if you go to their landing page, you'll notice that their forms and their calls to actions are very clean, and it's also above the fold on mobile. But if you go to the landing page, what I really like is that I see that this works really well. When you go to actually fill out the form, they have this call out here. Please note, this offer is exclusively for licensed med spa owners and operators with medical oversight. They're doing a call out on exactly who this offer is for. They want to make sure that they're not attracting any patients, because in this space, this is a very common issue. And I know this because we also go through this with one of the clients that we work with, is that it's very easy to have patients kind of coming through the door to want to inquire about getting a treatment. And that's not who they want to target. And so to help them get better quality leads, they have these call outs, not only on their ads, but also on their landing pages as well. And this really helps with improving the overall lead quality that you get. And so I'm a big fan of this. I always see this work really well. And then also you'll notice that they have additional questions on their form, like things like, okay, what's your business name? What's your business state? What's your business zip code? Which of these describes your company, right? Which is your business medically supervised? And then what they do is they'll actually go on the back end and verify on whether this person actually owns the business, whether this is an actual business. So that way they're not just wasting their sales team's time on actually going ahead and getting on a call with somebody that's a patient, for example, that's not even qualified. So all in all, those are the main kind of key takeaways when it comes to Artemis and their landing pages and their website. I mean, really, when it comes to getting really good results with lead generation, right, you basically need to have a core focus on your offer, your lead generation efforts, right? You need to have tracking down to a T. This is very important. Without tracking, you're basically done. You need to have a solid sales process. You need to have a solid appointment setting process. And of course, you need to have a solid sales process as well. You need to have closers that can get the job done. As long as you guys have all these components in place, you can definitely get results with lead generation. Now, really, those are some of the main kind of key things that I wanted to highlight when it comes to Artemis after reviewing their overall product, their funnels, their ads, their landing pages, etc. Really, what makes Artemis's lead generation strategy so successful isn't just their product. Of course, that's a big component of it, because you cannot get these kind of results unless you have a good product, but it's also the system they've built around it. Their success highlights 5 key components every business owner should understand if they want to generate qualified leads and actually convert when it comes to lead generation. First is targeted messaging by funnel stage. So again, having different ads that speak to different potential users or potential buyers, depending on the level of awareness that they have, right? And having also landing pages to match that. Next is having multiple offers with the same product, right? As you can see, they have a couple different offers that they're trying out, right? The whole, we'll pay you to have the device, or the whole try the device and only pay if it actually gets you results. So they're trying out different things. The offer plays a very big role in the results that you see. Landing pages that convert. This is very important, right? You need to make sure you have clean, proof-driven landing pages that are designed to move users towards actually booking a demo or filling out the form with you. Next is you need to have overall like built-in trust and low risk. So Artemis, again, they pair credibility, which are things like FDA cleared or top rated, with low friction offers, with things like payment coverage and these guarantees around their offer. And they have consistency across all touch points. Their messaging, their design, and offers all align, creating clarity and momentum for leads to actually convert. And so the bottom line, and to conclude, successful lead generation is more than just running ads. It's about building an entire ecosystem where the ad, the offer, and the landing page all work together to qualify, educate, and convert the right type of customer. Artemis nails this, and really they do a really good job overall across the board. And so if you're a business owner looking to generate real leads, there's a lot here that you can actually model after. And with that said, if you're looking to get more help with building out an infrastructure like this, where you basically have an optimized ecosystem across the board, down below this video in the description, there's going to be a link where you can actually book in a call with me and my team. On that call, we'll get to know more about you and your business. And from there, we can actually put together an outline going over how we can support your business and help you grow. So wanted to put that out there. All in all, those are the main kind of key takeaways that I had for this video. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video, I would appreciate if you dropped a like. If you have any comments about anything that I covered in the video, drop it down below in the comments. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Now, with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.